Hey friends, it's me, Micah. This is the Homestead bandwagon reporting to you from work. So today we're going to try to solve the mystery of why won't my tractor start. It's a call we get like 8 times a day. We're going to concentrate on turning the key and it just clicks and there's nothing there. Oh man. You know, if you're turning the key and getting the whir, you know, sound, that's something a little different. Not going to cover that in this particular video. We'll do another one with the experts in the shop. This is just something you at home can do and check and go, oh yeah, that's why it's not starting. So let's find a tractor and get into it. Okay, so you jumped on your tractor, turned your key, and it just clicked. Nothing there. And maybe the lights on the dash all came on, maybe they didn't, but let's just say the lights came on, you got to click, nothing. What's the first thing to check? I would always start at the front of the tractor and work my way back. So at the front of the tractor, the thing we want to check is right here. Your dang on battery. These things rattle around, jumping around. You get grit, you know, where the battery connections are. You'll get grime. These things will just pop loose. It'll happen all the time. So check your battery connections. Check here, look at this. This leads up to your computer stuff. Make sure these are securely fastened. Let's look around here, make sure none of these connections got pulled out when you're running around out in the field, right? Maybe try hooking some jumpers to this guy if you can and see if that'll start the tractor. A lot of times the tractors you'll turn the key, the lights will come on, there's enough amperage to turn the lights on, but not enough amperage to turn your starter. People never want to believe us, then we bring them into the shop, test the battery's half shot. We replace the battery with a new one, tractor starts right up. So something to check immediately is your battery. Make sure your connections are good. Try to jump your tractor. If that doesn't work, we can work our way back here. Start following electrical connections. Here's our starter. Are all the wires connected to the starter? Has a mouse eaten through one of the wires? Is there something weird looking in here? I don't know, just look in there, see if you see anything. Look at this, there's a connector over here. There's all sorts of connectors. Make sure they're connected. And then work your way to the brake. Are you pushing down the brake all the way when you're trying to start the tractor? If you're not, you're probably not engaging a safety switch. Look, there's a safety switch right there. When I push it, this tells the tractor that the brake is turned off. So some of these have to be pushed into work. Some of them have to be out. But click it. Can you hear it clicking? Well, that's good. Can you spray it with some WD-40? Have these wires come loose or disconnected? And are you pushing on the brake far enough to disengage this button or engage it depending on how the tractor is supposed to work? So look for these safety switches. Make sure they're not covered in schmutz. Make sure we're getting either positive engagement with them or non-engagement. And then we got our shifter. A lot of tractors these days have to be in neutral to start. And you'll think you're in neutral. There you go. That looks like it's in neutral, but it's not. So there's a safety switch connected to this stick. If it is not all the way engaged in neutral, tractor ain't gonna start. No way, no how. And another thing we see all the time is the stinking PTO switch. Again, is it really turned off? If it's not turned off, your tractor won't start. What if it's just barely engaged because there's some schmutz in there? Spray some WD-40 in there. Turn this on or off 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 times. Right? Really yammer on it. All of a sudden that schmutz that was in there works its way out, tractor starts right up. Are your hydrostatic pedals centered? Some tractors don't like to start if the pedals aren't centered. So if they're sitting off center because you got a little screw loose or something under here, or one of these return springs, there's a spring there, isn't springing correctly, if these aren't centering because a stick got in there and disconnected a spring or something, a lot of tractors won't start because they don't want you to start them and then run away. And then everybody's favorite culprit's right here. Your seat. Under this seat is a safety switch. The way that safety switch works is your butt pushes down on the switch, tells the tractor it's okay to start. Your butt comes out of the seat, the switch opens up, all of a sudden the tractor shuts down or won't start. And look at these cheesy connections that all these tractors have. These are not very thick wires. So, has something worn through these wires? Is there schmutz inside these connections? Can you spray those out with WD-40? Spray that out, and then hop up and down on the seat. Hop up and down, up and down, up and down. Make sure we engage that seat sensor that's in this seat somewhere. Other than that, guys, if those things do not solve your problems, it may be time to call your dealership. You know, there's wires all over the place. You know, make sure you get in there with a flashlight, look underneath the tractor, make sure no wires came disconnected. But if you push your brakes in and out a bunch of times, you make sure you're really in neutral. You turn on your PTO shaft, or turn your PTO on and off a bunch of times. You hopped up and down the seat, you checked your seat connection, and stuff isn't working. You may just be in trouble and need a dealer's help. And one last thing, if you are putting a jumper on your seat safety because you're tired of the tractor cutting out when you get out of the seat, and you're using something like a paper clip, those paper clips will shed that metal coating they have on them, and it'll wreck those sensors, okay, or it'll wreck the connections in there. We see that a lot, and we try to clean them out if we can, but otherwise the little seat sensors are just toast. And we know if we're using a paper clip or something to do that. And also, if you're using something else to bypass that seat safety switch, and it doesn't have a perfect connection, sometimes that switch will flicker in and out, in and out, in and out a million times. The tractor won't die, but it'll keep pounding your safety sensor, I guess is what it's called, that all your safety switches talk to, and it'll take that sensor out. We've seen those sensors go bad, and we're like, why is that? Oh, this jumper was junky, and it's been flickering on and off a billion times, and it fried this expensive safety switch sensor. So that's the things to look at. Make sure your PTO is not engaged. Make sure your brakes are engaged. Make sure if you have a clutch, your clutch is engaged. Make sure you're neutral. Check your battery. I've seen countless people tell me, no, my battery's not a problem. It's fine. Bring the battery in, test it. It's not fine. Test your safety switch under your seat as much as possible, and crawl under your tractor. Look for disconnected wires, whatever you can find. And if that ain't it, then call your dealer. Have them come out and help you. You know, you could scratch your head for months and months and months, and goes into the dealer, and all of a sudden they find it was something stupid, and you know, it was worth just spending the money to have them do it. All right, hope you have a good one. We'll see you around.